All right, folks, welcome to another Pops Talk. That's right, we're going to do some movie reviews, catch up to some different things that I've been watching, and yeah, hot takes are coming. So let me hear from you what you guys think right now. All right, first up, 1995's Judge Dredd. Yeah, I know it's bad. I knew it was bad going into it, but I couldn't really remember much about it because I hadn't watched it in so long. And something popped up saying, oh, yeah, 30 years ago. I'm like, oh, well, let's see how bad it is 30 years later. And reality is, the first 15, 20 minutes or so feels like Judge Dredd. And then there's a shot later on with Rico, who's like, it's dark, it's raining, it feels dreary in the town. It's like everything feels like Judge Dredd. Everything else just sucked. Everything else was just absolutely terrible.
The evidence has been falsified. Guilty as charged. I interrupt the law.
The only thing that frustrates me the most is we get a good introduction to Mega City and what's going on and how everything is going to work. So you and the audience can kind of like get a good feel for how this is going to work. He's taking out thugs, he's taking out criminals. It's sort of like everything that you need. But the Armand Asante story arc is just god awful and terrible. Like I just totally didn't understand why we're doing all that. And of course, this basically just becomes a Stallone vanity project. And I got to be honest, I think the biggest hot take I'm going to have on this movie is we shouldn't let Stallone off the hook. It is one of Stallone's worst movies, and it is his fault. Because I want to be perfectly honest, the concept of the movie and what they're doing, the attention to detail in the costuming, all of these things were coming from a creative team and a development that really wanted to do good. Like Danny Cannon was like, listen, man, we're going to really take advantage of this incredible run of comic books and really try to adapt something that's almost like Ben-Hur. We want something very grand. We wanted something that's very intense. We wanted something like that. Instead, because of Stallone, it was likened to like a Die Hard movie or something.
Let me crush him, Paul. We're going to war.
But as I said, there are moments where it feels like Judge Dredd. It kind of looks like Judge Dredd. But then, of course, there's the framing and the setup. And then you get, I don't know, 3/4 of the movie or so where he doesn't have his helmet on. I mean, he doesn't really put the helmet back on. Like it becomes just a buddy comedy with him and Rob Schneider trying to sneak back into Mega City while he was framed for this murder that he didn't actually commit by Rico. And if it doesn't sound like a Judge Dredd movie, it's because it's all just manufactured nonsense that doesn't make any sense. I mentioned it briefly. Rob Schneider. Yeah, Rob Schneider plays this dude who's getting out of prison right when Dredd is descending on some chaos. He's been assigned this room in this apartment buildings, and these criminals are there basically attacking the judges. He gets caught up in the middle of it all, trying to survive. He basically hides himself into like this robot, which is against the law as well. And Dredd just sentenced him to like 5 years in prison, which is completely ridiculous. And of course, as it's spoiled right here in the trailer, he's the one that outs that he's factually Dredd. So it literally isn't the worst buddy in a buddy cop comedy type thing. It just doesn't belong here, and everything is out of sorts and out of place.
Hallelujah, brother! Alrighty. Amen, brother!
We have a believer in the gallery.
Yes!
Cut him down. You're making a big mistake.
Well, Dredd, maybe the law doesn't make mistakes, but I'm free and you're toast.
Your new friends. They're cannibals.
I was incredibly frustrated by this entire sequence because the Angel Gang is in the comic book, and there were some moments I think that could have worked and should have worked, but it's just overshadowed by trying to get back to the Armand Asante thing. Like they're there for a minute. It's played for sort of like action film gags, and we got to get back to this Rico story arc where he's basically like they're like clones. I don't understand even like it's so poorly constructed what Armand Asante's character is doing. He's just completely just like a Joker character. He's just a terrorist, basically.
Chaos, you got a lot in common.
I'll be the judge of that.
there's a confrontation that culminates basically with the Statue of Liberty, which feels like just something we should do just to do stuff for an action movie from this time. And this is Rico with this robot that he basically brings back to life in like 2 seconds. Like he just knows how to do the wiring because, and it's played for laughs. It's played for, and then of course Schneider's character is supposed to be a hacker, and at the end he's hot wired. It was all just like cheesy, cheeky, stupid stuff. And the irony is, I feel so bad for everyone in development who put together a plan to actually adapt something that was good. But the studio very early on was like, no, we're not doing that. They were going after Arnold, which of course led them to get Stallone. There was a part of getting Joe Pesci as Fergie, which, I mean, I don't know if it would have played any better. I would have felt bad for Joe Pesci. It's just, they're so far away for what makes Dredd Dredd that I just couldn't do it. So all in all, this movie is god awful. I'm gonna say star and a half. One, maybe two. I can't go two. There are too many like just bad fun movies that are 2-star movie, 2 out of 5. This movie's really not even fun. It feels just tedious and just keeps going. And the layers of stupidity and stuff that kind of has to transpire for you to like this suspension of disbelief stuff's good. And I didn't mention poor Diane Lane. Feels like she's just kind of caught up into this movie somehow. Like I don't even know. She doesn't really fit. There's sort of like romantic tension that kind of culminates, but I don't know, man. And like there's a scene where Dredd is like how he's been asked to go and teach these at the academy, and there's like they have the bike and it won't start, it clunk, and then of course it's all terrible. It is just god awful. So yeah, 95's Judge Dredd. It's just as bad as it ever was 30 years later. I'm gonna go star and a half, and I think I'm probably being kind. Anyway, that's my take on that.
Mark IV Lawmaster, improved model. With dual onboard laser cannons, vertical takeoff and landing flight capability. Range, 500 kilometers.
Active. Malfunction. Malfunction. Malfunction.
Yours if you can never get it to work.
To survive in Mega City 1, you need serious self-defense. If you go out, carry a lawgiver, drive a safe vehicle, and definitely do not talk to strangers. In this town, there is only one law and one man to enforce it. To get the job, you must be judge, jury, and executioner. Only then will you know the meaning of Dredd. Judge Dredd, the video game.
All right, let's talk about Flow. It's a Oscar-worthy Latvian film. It's an adventure animation project that was up for an Oscar. Everyone had just great things to say about this. Mrs. Pops and I actually watched this together. And the thing that really struck me is how contradictory some of the animation is. It's basically just an adventure story, right? We have this little cat wandering in a forest. There's a pack of dogs. The dogs are going to fight over a fish, but the cat gets the fish, chased by the dog. Cat escapes, blah, blah, blah. And it's just this big journey. And there's like this Labrador and these other animals that come on board for the adventure. Or at one point, it's just a hodgepodge of characters. This is the capybara that's on this ship. There's also like a ring-tailed lemur that's also involved, and they all have different moments of just sort of like levity and complexity. There's a secretary bird as well that's involved with this, and the characters are just supposed to just be sort of a metaphor for how different we all are. Here's a little shot with the cat with the lab, but notice how bad the animation of the lab is. And this is one of my problems with the movie. It's like there's these beautiful backgrounds, there's these beautiful scenes, and then at the same time there'll be animation of a character that's so bad it's distracting. Like I was taken out of the moment. So I guess we're going for a certain type of style and stuff that was supposed to really grab me or engage me. And maybe this just didn't translate well to the small screen because I did not see this in theaters. Because I feel like the thing that everybody talked about was how beautifully animated it was. And I feel that at many times it's the backgrounds and scenery in the world that we're supposed to be in. And that feels really good. That is beautiful. But it's just this generic adventure story where just through conveniences and luck, the cat keeps surviving. And by the way, I have no idea why on earth the cat not only knows how to swim, but also is like able to hold its breath and be smart. And we've attributed a ton of human characteristics to these animals, particularly the cat. It also is a journey that we don't, I think, really totally understand. I think the group just seems to kind of know how to they learn so fast. They learn how to steer the ship, they learn how to, dodge different pillars in this storm. And the secretary bird at one point just flies away and you're like, okay. And the cat just swims ashore. Okay. And then we're just keep going there. It is it's kind of a hodgepodge of things that are supposed to work better than they actually do for me. I think that the animators have some great talent and have just a beautiful ability to kind of put you in a world. But I also feel like this was extremely exaggerated. Here's a good shot with the bird. But see, look at how bad the Labrador is, and even the bird to a certain extent. But you get moments where I feel like it's very good. And I don't know, maybe AI is part of the tools they use to animate with this because it just seems so inconsistent with the backgrounds. The backgrounds are great, but then when you see some of the scenes, you're like, ugh. But here's the whale scene. The animation is good enough to be an enjoyable experience. This is one of the rescue. They just know how to do the rescue scene. The emotions are there. You're rooting for the animals to survive. You're getting emotional at some of the moments. So I feel like it knew how to like hit you in the feels to, have a good audience response. And I feel like it's sadly one of those overrated, we're told it's great type Oscar films, but it's not really that great. I actually really had a lot of love for the 2022 Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro and its Oscar run. And I thought, I need to rewatch that because maybe it doesn't hold up as well as I remember because I had a great experience seeing that. But it was made for streaming. This, I don't think, was. So I feel like maybe something got lost with the adaptation for streaming or whatever. So for me, it was not this grand, great film that I was told it was going to be. So I'm going to come down at about a 3.5 out of 5. A solid story with some characters that you kind of like have some love for. And the beautiful backgrounds and some of the sequences are excellent. There's no dialogue, it's just animals on a journey kind of film. But I also think the animals were not done well. There's some moments that were just really bad animation. So, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think it was solid enough, but definitely overhyped and exaggerated is definitely my take on that one. Okay, up next is Wolfman. That's right, the 2025 adaptation. If you remember, I did a review of the original and talked about what I liked and didn't like about that. I'll try to remember to put that link in the description there, and if not, check out the channel for that. But this is the new version. And it's from Universal and Blumhouse, trying to make us feel like we could have classic monsters again. But
Can you guess what I'm thinking right now?
I love my little girl.
Infected.
Only in theaters January 17th.
Maybe 50-50 with Blumhouse projects. Like, there's some of them are usually okay, but then a lot of times we're talking about mid stuff. This movie can't even get to mid, in my opinion. We have this very long-winded setup when he's a child. Our main character, Christopher Abbott, plays Blake. He's a writer. Young Blake and Blake's dad, there's this backstory of when he was a kid and young Blake, and he's out there. His dad's real stern and gruff. They're out in a hunting blind. There's obviously an attack. Things like this are happening. Then we fast forward 30 years later. Blake's in San Francisco. He's not working. He's married and got a kid now. Of course, it's like sad dad stuff, right? He's trying to be a good dad, but he's like sad dad. He's pathetic husband guy, right? The wife makes the money, and he's found dad's dead. They got to go out to this place out in the middle of nowhere. In the process of going out there, they end up down this little road, and the guy that jumps out, Derek's helping him get directions. The U-Haul kind of goes over the side, and he sees Derek get grabbed by this creature of some sort, some persuasion. He gets his arm injured, and that's what sets in motion the fact that he's going to become in this sort of like transformation, if you will. It's sort of like something's happening. And here you can see Julia Garner stars as his wife. Julia Garner plays Charlotte. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of Julia Garner. This is by the way, your Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie. She is 31 in real life. She still looks like she's playing like a 22, 23-year-old. Like, she's smarmy and immature. Her character is like not a good mom, not connected to the daughter. The daughter is like a daddy's girl. She's just unplugged from everything. She was terrible in this movie. She is distracted. Christopher Abbott is fine, right? He is fine. Julia Garner is absolutely god awful. The child actress, she's fine. She plays the daughter. She's okay. I don't have any really major grievances there. The problem is the story is about Christopher Abbott like descending into his transformation, but in this very slow and weird way that it kind of works, but it feels like a supernatural version of a transformation of like the Fly. They're treating it more like an infection, like he's very sudden. And then when there's an attack by an actual werewolf, which obviously, spoiler alert, you don't want those, feel free to check out. I don't know why. The movie was terrible. I'm trying to save you, 90 minutes to 2 hours, however long this movie was. How long? It was short, wasn't it? 103 minutes with credits. So yeah, 95 minutes. It's the dad. The dad's basically been a werewolf this whole time. Surprise. He's not really dead. He's obviously turned into a werewolf. It's just really tedious. They have these like weird sensory things that are happening where way he sees and hears and stuff like that. So that transformation is what's supposed to be the focus of the movie, but it's never done well. It's just never quite right.
You're scaring me.
And there's moments where you can kind of see like what they're saying. They can talk, and then he loses the ability to understand them, and they use a camera effect and kind of flip it. That is probably the only thing that's decent about the movie, is this sort of like weird take on that. That part I like, but everything else was pretty terrible. It was a lot. It was a lot to get through this movie. I didn't find it scary. I didn't find it interesting. I didn't find it really anything particularly great. It just was what it was, and I'm glad we didn't see it in the theater, because I was talking about seeing it in the theater. Mrs. was like, meh on seeing it in the theater. She was right. Would have been a waste of our time. 1.5 on this one too. 1.5 out of 5 is probably being kind. 3 and a 4 out of 10 is where most people should land. I don't know people scoring these things. I'm not looking at scores. I just tell you what I think. I think this movie was just a waste of time, just complete major setback for everyone involved.
Can you guess what I'm thinking right now?
I love my little girl.
Were attacked and was infected.
Scaring me!
Don't you lay your hand on her.
Only in theaters.
All right, so when you have a run of some bad movies or mediocre movies or whatever, I don't know what you do. I find a palate cleanser. I find something that I know is good. Hopefully something I haven't seen in a while, but it kind of refreshes me. That choice was No Country for Old Men, a great film, okay? I want to give you my take on this film. This film is probably still underrated, even though it was recognized and well respected. The Coen brothers, probably one of their best magnum opus. Is it fair to say that? I don't know. Is that a thing? We do that. Roger Deakins does the cinematography. Tommy Lee Jones, Javier Bardem, who you see here, Josh Brolin. They hit everything out of the park.
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What way would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas. I didn't mean nothing by it.
Didn't mean nothing.
Is something wrong?
With what?
With anything.
You don't know what you're talking about. What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say. We need to know what we're calling it for here.
You need to call it.
Yeah.
You stand to win everything. Call it.
Javier Bardem's character is this hitman who, he kills a cop, and here we see him doing this coin toss with this gas station attendant who doesn't understand what's even going on. And in the trailer, then you cut to Josh Brolin's character, who basically wanders across like a drug deal gone wrong, and then he's basically a man on the run with this cash and stuff. He shouldn't have taken, man. Everyone's out to get you now. You feel so sucked up into their world, man. It's so incredible. This film is just phenomenal. So much of it. He uses this sort of like high compression device, which is kind of like the kind of thing you would use to put down animals. Like you can use it to put down a livestock by hitting them in the head with this thing. So it's supposed to be, more humane. It's incredible. Some of the different sequences, it's very stylistic. It's very interesting. It just breezes by with this realistic characters, what's going on. Here's a quick shot of Llewellyn, played by Brolin, with his wife going, listen, man, I got to leave. Go to your mom. Stop talking, blah, blah, blah. I think this is just phenomenal, right? Kelly MacDonald plays the wife. I think that 90-something% of this movie is like perfection. All the things that are working. Now, the book and these source materials, I understand it really centers around Tommy Lee Jones' character. And that's kind of like this very last little piece. As things kind of wrap up and you end up with what actually happens with Llewellyn in this hotel, how everything kind of transpires with him trying to get back to his wife, and obviously who got there first, the hitman, blah, blah. So the problem is that last little bit, because it's about this guy. And I have to be honest, I don't really care about this guy. I feel like we should have had more of him along the way to be the representative of the audience going through the journey more. I didn't connect to him as much. So this very end of this movie, because this is the star of the movie. Oh my gosh, he is so amazing in this film. Oh my gosh, he's so good. And he's creepy, he's eerie, he's dangerous. It's just, he is everything you can possibly imagine, all rolled into one. I don't even know how to put into words. He would be among the best villains of all time, in my opinion. This film won Oscars, for the Coen brothers. That won Oscars for him. He's treated as a supporting actor for this, but I mean, obviously, it's kind of odd how this is sort of like constructed. So Tommy Lee Jones / Josh Brolin is really, they're really the stars, I guess. But yeah, he is just epic in this movie.
Just how well do you know Sugar?
What do you want to know?
I just want to know your opinion of him. Just how dangerous is he?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague? Yeah, he's a psychopathic killer, but so what?
I didn't mention Woody Harrelson. He's also sort of like a skilled hitman as well. That's kind of been caught up into this and what's going on. He's been kind of thrown in the scene. It is kind of funny because you feel like there's this major tonal shift as they're going to be put into odds with one another, yet it doesn't go as you would expect. And I think that is a great twist and a great piece that kind of makes the film work even more so. Brolin is really fantastic. I know that it's sort of like overshadowed because Barnum's character is so good, but Josh Brolin is just phenomenal. He actually got injured, so what they did is when they shot him on that shoulder, it's like that's actually where his injury is. So it kind of worked out, but he actually had an injury after he'd cast for the role. So it's a funny little story that he has shared, and but yeah, delivers epically. So as I say, it's sort of like the very end of everything that kind of plays out that kind of loses it for me. It's not that it knocks the film down a ton for me or anything like that. It just doesn't stay at like the 9.5 that it should. It doesn't stay at like the 4.5. It's like we're right there. We're right there at like 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. And the problem is just that last little nugget. See, the 10 scale gives me the leeway that I want here, so I can give it a 9. I just don't know that I can go 9.5. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a real tricky line of greatness. And it's just that last little bit that keeps it from perfection. But what it does is it makes me happy. And it put a smile on my face. Because after watching some movies that were not very good, it was great to watch something that I really, really enjoyed. And there is another film that I actually watched and enjoyed, but I need to do a whole video on that because that's another really kind of hot take. And I know this is a bit of a hot take on No Country for Old Men because it probably is and should be on people's, best of movies of all time kind of thing. I get it. It's going to be a favorite for folks. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. It is. It's so well done. Like I said, I think there's a weird tonal change there where we're going to just focus on that sheriff and he's talking to the wife and kind of what does it all mean? And I get all that, man. I do. I get it. But it's sort of like the last little piece that we just kind of lose a little bit from it all. That's all. I don't know where you guys come down on that because that's a tricky one for me. I love it a lot, but just shy of greatness. It's so good. How do I put it into words, man? I don't know. It's tough because sometimes when things are really bad or really this good, it's hard to kind of articulate that line of where they kind of land. I would still say it would be on my best movies of all time list. It's just not going to be as high for me as it would be for other people. There you go. That's my explanation. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed a little pop talk. I clip these out so each movie will get its own review. Have a good time just kind of catching up with you, showing little clips in between, kind of fleshes out what I'm talking about. I've enjoyed that process and be able to do something with you that we can kind of engage back and forth on some of these and love your thoughts and recommendations and suggestions. Where we're trying to check off a few of those that kind of have try to get caught up on some of these other projects and things that I've been working on. So, but thanks for watching. I am Pops.
An innocent man who found a fortune. A deadly stranger.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
On his trail.
These people are killing. They won't quit.
He won't either.
Now,
What is this?
there's no turning back.
You bring me the money and I'll let her go.
Newsweek, Time, and Rolling Stone agreed. There's no movie like No Country for Old Men. Rated R. In select theaters this Friday. Everywhere, November 21st.